In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victorious. So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on, bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Defend Your Movie podcast. I am one of your hosts. I am Sean Donnelly. I am here with my co-host, the awesome Farrah Brooke, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Sean.
It's so good to see you, Farrah. It's cold outside here in New York City.
It's cold.
I went to your apartment before we recorded, and I overshot your apartment by like 3 avenues.
I know. I was very disappointed.
Almost all the way to the studio, and then I had to backtrack.
It's too cold for these
I know. I don't
oversights.
know. I know. I should be more alert because of how cold it is, right? Wouldn't you say?
I just can't believe it.
Well, today we have a very special guest. He's my pal. He's a hilarious comedian. One of my favorites in the city. Jim Tews, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, everybody. Thank you.
The live studio audience loves him.
We have the live studio audience. Jim, how are you, my friend? How are you dealing with the cold?
I'm all right. I kind of like it because it is seasonally appropriate. And that's all I want.
You know what? I will give you that. I kind of felt good. When I was walking in your apartment building today, Farrah, like I smelled somebody was cooking, like holiday time type of meal. Like somebody was cooking like a meatloaf or something, and I was like, oh, that smells really good when it's this cold out. Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of
You don't want meatloaf in the summer.
no, you don't want meatloaf in the middle of August.
Hey, maybe I want meatloaf in the spring or the summer.
No. You don't.
I brought meatloaf to the barbecue.
What? Yes, everybody was sweating. I made them sweat more.
But yeah, I do. I think there's something healthy. We had our first snow. I think there's something healthy about your body being rocked by cold and it changing seasonally.
Well, this is how I know.
Especially if you live here, you're like, that
Yeah.
is what it's supposed to feel
and
like.
it's how it tells you this is the time of year.
Get in the spirit.
What it does for me now is that I have arthritis, like in my knees.
Of course
It's
you
an
do.
old man thing. So for the past 2 days, it's been hurting like a lot. I'm like, why do my knees hurt so much? And I realized I think it's because of my arthritis. Like it's like bad. Like I'm walking up and down stairs bad. Like it's really bad.
I can't wait.
like-
can't
I'm
wait to
bas-
And
carry
you're
you.
only 60.
I'm only 60. I'm 59, and in May I'll be 60.
Right. So that's, wow.
You're going to only have to do spots at the Fat Black Pussycat when you work the cellar because you won't be able to go up and down the stairs.
I won't be able to do it stairs. Well, put it this way: where we record, you can either go up one flight of stairs or you can take the elevator, one floor, and I took the elevator.
So did I. And I don't know what my excuse is.
You're just lazy and high all the time.
Oh, my God.
What?
Sean.
What? You're not?
No.
Is that true?
That's not true. Okay.
Not all the time.
I'm kidding around. You're so sensitive.
I just said not all the time. I didn't cry about it. But
incredible.
speaking of crying, I did see Coco. And I have to stop the podcast, put everything on pause to say, please, please, I implore you to go see Coco. It's the best movie of the year. Not forgetting that Moana was last year.
Right.
It's not better than Moana, but it's incredible.
Here's the thing I realized about Farrah. Farrah you love animated movies.
I never used to be this way, though.
You know what it is? It's Disney movies are so good.
This was one of the best. I mean, now I'm a movie pass hoe. I've been seeing everything. I no longer serve my position on this podcast.
Is that like rap video hoe, but you just go to movies all the time? Is that what it is?
all the time? I had a lunch break at work today. I thought about maybe I should just pop in a movie.
Just to go check it out for 10 minutes and then leave?
Yeah. But I've seen them all, and Coco is just such a joy.
Well, here's
Please
the deal.
go and tell me what you think.
The running gag on the podcast, not even a gag, it's true. Farrah loves Moana. Like she's obsessed with it. Like,
I have a Moana Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I'll post pictures on the Patreon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, she's in Moana Christmas Tree. She's seen it like 5 times at this point, 6 times.
Many more than that.
Many more than
at
that.
this
Just
point.
you're willing to admit. But 6 was you were willing to admit like 5 or 6. Now, how does Coco stack up against
Well,
Moana?
I'd like you to see it, and then we can discuss.
Okay, I'll check it out. Have you heard of Coco,
It was
Jim?
really
yeah.
amazing.
Are you going to go see it, you think?
Yeah, I am going to go see it. It's on the list.
I think
He's scheduled, he said, for this weekend.
Yeah,
It's what I
that was
badge.
the plan.
I say, hey, how are you? Did you see Coco? To everyone I see
I
now.
still haven't seen Moana though.
Moana's great. I saw it
I
finally.
love all those. Disney
Farrah
Pixar
was
movies.
after me for months and months to see it. And here's the thing, man. It's Disney. Like, they can't,
so
they really can
good.
do no wrong. Like, name a
they
bad
can.
Disney thing.
Frozen.
No, Frozen's not bad. Frozen's just
Frozen is garbage.
Frozen's just age appropriate. Like, it's for little girls. It is.
So is this. So is Moana.
Yes, with him at the podcast. I'm like, no, it's not. Moana's for little girls, but if you're older, you can enjoy it. I don't think Frozen has
I think people like Frozen, but not I.
you. That's your opinion. But Frozen did really well, and people think it's a really good. It made like I don't know how many billions of dollars.
Yeah, but this is okay. So Coco is Pixar, and this apparently is saving them. They weren't doing well, and they had some big flops. And Coco is like their saving grace right now.
What was the one they had before this? They used to do like one Pixar movie a year, right? Wasn't it like that, or no? Maybe I'm wrong about that.
It might have actually been
Less than
less than that.
right? Because I think they take so long to
Because
make.
Disney doesn't own. Wait,
Yeah, they own Pixar.
they own Pixar. But wait, so Frozen was
It was just straight up
Disney.
Disney.
Disney,
So it was Disney Animation.
right?
And Moana is what? Disney Animation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And then Pixar is like Inside Out made Pixar.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah.
that movie was
and
amazing.
Pixar made it.
I never saw it. I heard it was amazing. But I've seen Up, and Up is so
This
good.
is another one where you're
Monsters,
just
Inc.
like, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just really...
That's why
whoever
I
that
want
team
everyone
is-
to see it in the theater. Well, and before the movie, they took out the Frozen short. We've really gone off on a tangent here, but
That's fine.
They
Everybody
had
hated that
but yeah, they
short.
had a terrible Frozen short that I saw. First of all, I saw Coco for the second time.
Oh.
The first time I saw it, there was this terrible Frozen short. It was 22 minutes long, and people complained so much about it, they removed it from the movie.
What was wrong with it? Because I'm curious. Now that it's not
so
before the
bad.
movie. For what reason?
I mean,
Just not
what do you say?
entertaining?
It was not entertaining. It was like a Christmas theme, Olaf's like Christmas journey, and it was like bad and boring and terrible.
And 22 minutes.
And
is
there
too
was like
long.
music.
That's very
There was like
long.
5 songs in it, and they were all bad. And yeah, 22 minutes. Then you're adding a half hour to a movie you're seeing.
And Frozen, the princess wasn't in it. It was just Olaf.
She was
I
like
guess.
in it a little, but it was just so annoying
But
and
also,
boring.
Yeah, everybody hated that short.
I've
Everybody-
never
when they-
seen them pull a short. That's how much people complained.
Do you remember, Jim? Do you remember when they did Who Framed Roger Rabbit the movie, and then they started on other movies? They started putting Roger Rabbit shorts before the movie.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and they had one I think before Roger Rabbit as well. Like they open up with it's supposed to be like he's in the middle of a cartoon, but then I'm pretty
Right.
sure other movies that made by the same company, or I think it might be the Warner Brothers, they started putting Roger Rabbit shorts. Like little Roger Rabbit vignettes, like in the other before the other movies, like because that's the way it used to be back in the day. Like
Right.
if you went to the movies in the 30s, you would watch a cartoon, you'd see a newsreel, and then you'd watch the movie.
Well, isn't that the Brave Little Toaster was like a short that
Yes.
played before, but I don't remember what it played before. But that was like
It played before something. You're right.
Well, that was
Same
what
kind of
was
thing.
so disappointing.
Can you Google
Was
stuff on this
usually I
podcast?
look forward
Yes, go
so much to the short that comes before a Pixar film. I
Right.
mean, it's such a treat, and it's always so amazing. Sometimes it's better than the movie itself. So it burns even harder when it's so bad. And those are supposed to be like original shorts, not characters from a movie you've already seen. And
Well, there's no rules for it. It doesn't have to
it's
be that.
supposed to be. You know, it's never been this, and it was very annoying, and I'm so glad that there was finally some justice in this country we've got Doug Jones, and we've got no Frozen short. So things
think
are
they
really
go hand
turning
in hand?
around.
We're getting rid of the garbage.
Drain the swamp.
I was watching that last night, the Doug Jones thing.
I don't know. Brave Little Toaster was not what I was thinking of.
I know what you mean,
Wait.
though. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. It was like, I think it was a Baby Herman short or something. Like, Baby Herman had the character from Roger Rabbit. Like, he had his own short before another movie, I'm pretty sure.
That would make sense.
Yeah. But I know. But when you said Brave Little Toaster, it's something like that. Like, it's,
Was it the lamp? I'm so lost now.
now it's forget it. It's not a big deal. Did you watch that Doug Jones thing last night?
Yeah.
My roommate, who's a common friend of all of us, Robertine, was over the moon when it was going on.
Oh, he was home? Or you guys were at a bar?
We were home watching it, and he was freaking out.
It's a
He was
big
so
deal,
excited.
yeah.
It's a big deal. Yeah, we're not going to get political on the podcast. It's a movie podcast.
Oh, we
but
can't get.
We shouldn't. We go off on political tangents sometimes.
We do, and
yeah.
you know what? Our listeners, they hate me. And they tweet at me rudely. So you know
No,
what?
they don't.
Forget it.
What do they say? They call you like a social justice warrior and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
they do. And
Because you're not a fan of pedophiles.
for the weirdest
No.
reasons. Here's the thing: in whatever crowd, I'm an SJW cunt, whatever.
No, nobody said that.
No.
Nobody did
Okay.
not call you that.
Okay, I've been
when I
called it
say
before,
it-
but then in another world, I'm like, I'm fucking what? I'm
You're-
Louis C.K. or some shit. I'm not.
Paradise Clay.
Yeah, I'm not. They're like,
Oh,
oh,
you're saying in my world you're a
Yeah.
SJW, and somewhere else you're basically Roy Moore. Somewhere
Right,
like that's what's
exactly.
happening. No, whenever I say it, I'm kidding. I know who
I know, but,
Yeah, we're
but
just
also I would take that label proudly.
social justice
Yeah.
warrior. No, because you know what it is when we do the movie. Sometimes Farrah will bring up the Bechdel test about if there's and I actually that was interesting to me. I find it interesting, but for some reason the listeners decide to call you. But I agree with it. Like I don't, I think
that's
there
why you
should
have
change
me.
the rules of movies. That's why I have you exactly.
I just saw. Did you see the Selma Hayek article in the New York Times? She just put it out about her experience with Harvey Weinstein, and she says something like, all of the dialogue in all movies ever made, there's only 16% spoken by women or something. I don't know the numbers. I just pulled that out of my ass. But
Also, she
it's in
pulled
the-
that out of her ass.
No.
How would she? You'd have to get
It was numbers from a testing thing.
There's no.
She didn't make it up.
I'm sure that's been researched.
Yeah, she didn't come up with a number.
What do you think
herself.
people in colleges
I don't
do?
know. You want me to pull up what the actual number was? I don't know. 17 doesn't sound right.
I guess I believe that. It's one of those things where it's like.
I would totally believe that.
Yeah,
and the thing is
you
this,
got to
it's like-
read this article. It's really interesting about how, the hell that Harvey put her through to make that movie Frida. I had never heard of it.
Really? No, that guy was on a different level. That guy was just literally a complete
Yeah,
monster,
but then so she's just
a
speaking though to
scumbag.
the overall effect that.
No, and it's true, and it's that, but it's one of those things where it's like. It's kind of interesting because even with Hollywood, where it's like that's supposed to be the most liberal place around, and they're still guilty of all that stuff, and that's just the way that life was. We got an argument one time. Actually, we did get an argument about how I brought up the point, and I still believe this. I'm not defending Harvey Weinstein when I say this. The way that the world was, and it's changing now. All this stuff is making things change. It's already happening in a fast way. Things are
Hell
changing,
yeah.
but. My point was about Harvey Weinstein a few episodes ago is that him acting like that, whatever part, not the sexual abuser part of his personality, yeah, that was a monster. But the flip side of that, the part of his personality that was like a completely aggressive maniac and didn't take no for an answer, when you put that to business, that's why he owned one of the most successful studios in the world.
Right. It's just an engine that's
just
looking for fuel or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a car that it's only going one speed. You point it in whatever direction.
Right,
If it's
exactly.
business
So he's
or
doing work.
sex.
Yeah, just consuming.
Right.
He needed one, and whatever he went to work direction, and then just killed it with that, and then you stick him on women, and he's a complete monster. So it's like it's same personality directed towards a certain thing. But when I said that the first time, Farrah, you got really mad at me when
No,
I
I
said
didn't.
that. Yes,
I
you
think in
did.
the context, I was like, what does that matter? I think that was.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't make it any better.
I
but-
think that's,
I
I'll
don't
tell you
think
why
I
it
was
matters.
mad about saying that.
I'll tell you why
Like,
it matters, because that's why it was rewarded for so long in that world. That's why it wasn't like this thing that like this was like one of these known secrets that was going around about this guy and the way people are treated in Hollywood. Let's be honest, it's a really like vapid, shallow place, of course. So what did they think was going on? Like what
What do you mean? What did
he
they
made so
say?
many people
Hollywood-
so much money that they
They
nobody
turn the
gave
other
a
way.
fuck.
Right.
They
and like
basically-
Selma says in this article, like it was so many years of her life went into wanting to make this movie and how much it meant to her that she
That
was
she let
willing
the
to
shit
do
happen.
a lot of stuff
Right.
and eventually turned her. But really, you read like what he put her through, very abusive
Horrible.
stuff to get the movie made.
Horrible.
But she wanted the movie made. She wanted to be in other movies with his company.
She wanted to be a movie star. She wanted to have a career. She wanted
She
to,
had
right.
worked on so much, and he's like, "I'm gonna blacklist you. You're never gonna work again. Everything you've got, I'm shutting down this movie." He said he was gonna shut down the movie if she didn't do a full frontal scene in it.
Yeah,
Fully
it's
shut
just-
it down. So it's like at that point, it's a very abusive, manipulative thing to do, and you
Oh, it's
don't know what to do
awful.
in that.
And you're super
You put-
outnumbered 'cause
and
you
you
can't
have a
be
whole
like-
set of people and everybody's jobs.
They're
and
all
this
just
and that.
scared shitless.
They're like, just get naked. Come on.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
they didn't know about it, but
Right. But if she had said something,
She
nobody
had
would.
messed
There's
at
so many
all,
people.
and he was trying to take this. I'm finding the number. It's a long article.
Well, don't
But
worry.
anyway.
I heard that from so this is like third hand, but somebody that used to work at Weinstein when he was still there, that he used to eat an entire rotisserie chicken every day for lunch, which is just such a fitting visual.
Yeah, the
He just
guy,
like slides the carcass out from his door.
yeah, this guy wasn't like a an English king. He wasn't an English
No, he's a greedy
knighted-
dirtbag.
Yeah, he was just a complete dirtbag that just
Okay,
lucked
ready?
out because he was a pushy asshole.
According to a recent study, between 2007 and 2016, only 4% of directors were female, and 80% of those got the chance to make only one film. In 2016, another study found only 27% of words spoken in the biggest movies were spoken by women. And people, yeah.
In the biggest movie.
So 27, not 17.
Okay.
Whatever.
I don't.
I
it's
don't even
also
know how we
like-
got to this, but
No, I know, but what I'm saying is like, yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. I
yeah,
think,
we all know what it is.
I think the facts like that, it's good to know those so you can kind of move on from them. But I think that it's not. People knew what life was back then. You also have to look at what women's role was in society at the time, and they didn't get their due in regular real life. So it's like to put it on the show business front is like, oh yeah, of course it's going to translate.
Yeah, well,
like
I
that.
think people are just really, into these stories because they are celebrities, and it does represent the bigger issues.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think you're right. I think what happens is, I think that, I don't know, it's a whole long discussion.
Yeah, it's
but,
a long
we'll
discussion.
get
All
into
in
it
all,
next
though,
time.
I just think it's really amazing that given this year, I never saw something happening that was going to kind of shake the core of,
Yeah.
a movement for women. So it's a hard thing hearing all these stories, but it's been really amazing.
It's really hard, but it's like, it's one of those things where I'm glad it's happening. I'm glad that all that stuff's being outed. And I think that it has to be like, okay, now change it. Now make sure it changes. Now make sure the whole
Yeah, I hope
structure
so.
of it changes. I think that you can't just go, because there was articles where people were like, yeah, what do we like? Well, everybody's like, well, what's the end game? What do you want? It's like, we don't have to have an end game. It's like, no, you kind of do. You have to have a point. Like, there should be a point to all this. I want there to be a change. They shouldn't just be like, these guys
Well,
get outed.
there
they lose
already
their
is a
jobs.
change.
There already is a change. But I'm saying, like, before that, when it first started, they're like, well, what's the point of this? It's like, well, the point is doing it's the point. Like getting it out there and it being
Yeah,
open.
and it being like that, it takes away. It's a lot, and it's very complex, but it basically is saying you fuck around like this, you lose your job, which wasn't the situation before.
Right.
So this is a huge step forward.
And it's like,
and it's taking away the shame that women have to speak about it.
All right, now let's talk about the movie that Jim is here to defend. Here's the thing.
I
We have
pulled
to
up the stats.
I don't know if we have a section where we admit wrongdoing, because I know How Did This Get Made already did this movie, but I don't care because it's a really bad movie, and Jim said he would defend it.
Yeah, I'm
not a bad
excited.
movie.
I have the stats up. This is a movie not only did I never see, but I've never heard of.
The movie Jim is doing this week is Hackers, which is, if you guys don't know what it is, do you want to do the stats first, and then I'll read the synopsis of the movie?
Sure. It's a PG-13, 1995 crime film / thriller. Runs at 1 hour and 47 minutes. We have a 6.2 out of 10 IMDb rating, a 32% Rotten Tomatoes, boo, and an 80% of Google users like this movie.
It's insane.
It was released in
Who
1995.
is reviewing movies on Google? Is it just monkeys? Is it just
Wait, what did it
kittens?
get on Google?
Google user
80%.
reviews?
We've got a
80%.
cast of Angelina Jolie, Johnny Lee Miller, and more.
Yeah, so basically, Hackers is a 1995 American crime film, which it makes it sound so
Fisher
much.
Stevens and Lorraine Bracco should be.
They're
up
on the
top of that
list as well.
too.
Yeah, American crime film directed by Ian Softly and starring Johnny Lee Miller, Angelina Jolie, Renoli Santiago, Matthew Lillard, Jesse Bradford, Lorraine Bracco, and Fisher Stevens. The film follows a group of high school hackers and their involvement in a corporate extortion conspiracy. Made in the 1990s when the internet was unfamiliar to the general public. And that's a very
That's the
important
best part.
statement.
That is the
It's
best
a very
part.
important statement. It reflects the ideals laid out in the Hacker Manifesto, quoted in the film, "This is our world now, the world of Electron and the Switch. We exist without skin color, without nationality, without religious bias, and you call us criminals? Yes, I am a criminal. My crime is that of curiosity. Hackers has achieved cult classic status." Not true.
You're
That's a
not
false
hanging out in the
statement.
right cults, my friend.
So that gives you an idea of what. Wow, that's a really good description if you're trying to defend Hackers.
It's probably the creator. It's Wikipedia, right?
It's the
Well,
Wikipedia.
That's
yeah.
the
Yeah.
hackers code.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that's
Someone
real.
who loves the movie made that.
No, I think that's real. I think some hackers made that.
Oh god.
That's what they based the movie on.
The
was-
very important sentence in that description is, it was made in the 90s where people were not familiar with the internet.
Right. And let me tell you, there's a lot of good parts in this movie, not story-wise or acting-wise, but just the way, because of people's minimal understanding of anything but AOL, maybe and even AOL was just so, like, not everybody had it at that point.
Right.
A lot of people, I feel
we
like,
knew. Yeah, right, exactly.
they had computers in their house, but you had, like,
Let's do this. Like, honestly, what was your first experience with the internet? Do you remember? I remember my
Yeah.
first experience with the internet.
we had it early because my mom used it for work, and she was
she a teacher?
No, she was an insurance adjuster, but she was always kind of like ahead of the curve on
She
shit
was
like
like a
that.
gigantic
Cool.
modem.
We did,
Like,
and yep.
Yeah.
And my mom went
a baby bird.
and took computer classes so
yeah.
that my sister and I would never be ahead of her knowledge wise.
Oh, that's funny.
That's badass.
But it only took about a year and a half for me to
Figure it out.
just rocket past everybody.
Because you were
And-
using it way more
Because I was
hours a
using
day.
it all the time. I
Yeah.
was just like, this is my jam. And I wasn't looking. I mean, I did figure out porn pretty quick, but that was not my thing.
Yeah.
It was just like talking to other people or learning how to build some shitty GeoCities website.
Right. Well, you got written really early.
Yeah. And
GeoCities was like one of the earliest like website building. It wasn't even a program. It was just you did it.
you just
did it
logged
online.
in.
Yeah.
You logged in and kind of like laid everything out.
And what year do you think that was that you were doing all that stuff? When you
That was
around the time the movie came out, probably.
right. I'm trying to think. 94. That was probably like 93.
Yeah, like my
Yeah.
buddies, we didn't have it when this happened. I was in high school at the time the internet came out, and like my friends I remember them knowing, like they're probably like you, like they knew like what would be like an FTP site now. It's like
Yeah.
what they were doing back then. Like the internet had where they were just like sharing files and it was all text and that's what it was. Like they were sharing. I remember like them when I finally got it, them just sending me a whole folder of Simpsons sounds, and
Oh,
me
yeah.
thinking it was the most amazing.
I
Remember
loved
that?
it.
It was the
Had the
best thing in the
same
world.
folder.
It was all clips from, and it was probably Seinfeld as well. We had to do the Seinfeld reference in the podcast, but it was a folder of all these Simpsons sounds, and I remember being like, "This is amazing!" And I'm just endlessly just hitting all this. It was waves. It was all waves, but it was a folder of like 50. Or 60, I don't even know what it was, but you thought it was endless because it was like, how is this even possible?
I remember there was the screensaver for my first computer.
Was it the flying toaster?
No, it was I can see clearly now the rain is gone. And it was kind of the music video for it. And I would just watch it over and over and over. And I thought it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I thought that it was so cool how the colors were moving. And
Do you remember what about the internet? What was your first thing with the internet?
well, it was already
was already
existed
pretty
when
good.
I was born. No. But no, yeah, that was pretty much my first memory was it would go from that song to one other song.
But that was your screensaver. What was
Yeah, and
like
I'd just sit and watch it.
But what about like email as far as
Yeah,
like
AIM, Cool Kid 357
That was your name?
rockin'
Hell yeah.
the waves and
What was that your name?
Yeah.
Cool Kid 357?
Yeah.
What was your AIM name? Do you remember? Do you have it?
This is embarrassing.
I'll say mine too.
It was I had a very early one, and I can't honestly remember what that one was. The second one I had that I used for many years was Hide-a-Duke, which is like I used to be super into skateboarding, right?
Oh, so was I.
And they had do you remember Duke's riser pads?
Yes, I
the
do.
brown,
Yeah.
soft brown riser pads.
Yeah, of course.
They had a little thing on the back of the label that said like it was about a game called Hide-a-Duke where you would go to a party and hide a turd
Yeah.
somewhere in the house. And my name was Hide-a-Duke.
So is it
I never did that.
Hideadook.
Hideadook. Yeah. And of course, I would never like hide my shit in someone's house, but
But
I
yeah.
just thought it was funny.
it was
That
no
was like-
Cool Kid.
No,
Cool
I
Kid.
wasn't.
Mine was Shawnee D 519.
Oh yeah, but then
Yeah.
I graduated to FB Gal.
FB
34,
gal.
yeah.
Farrah Brook gal.
FB Gal. And I remember sitting with my best friend at the time for like 2 hours trying to figure. I'm like, I can't be Cool Kid anymore. I'm not a kid anymore. I need a more adult. I need a cool AIM name now.
Should I
I
put
need
a
was your lady
420
bird.
in
That
it?
was your coming of age thing.
yeah.
Should I put
So
some
we were like
X's on
trying.
either side?
Yeah, we were trying so many variations, like Brook Baby and different things.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Remember how like absurd it would be to use your real name for anything? Like if someone IM'd you then and it was like Jim Tews, you'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah. Like, oh, they're gonna see
Yeah.
everything about him.
Yeah, but now we're like, well, what else would you use?
Well, they
They're
also
like, I used my social security number.
we had AOL was like they basically just cornered the market. They convinced you very early on that you needed AOL to use the internet, which you didn't.
Not really, but
If you had a
Convinced.
modem, you didn't need it. What? But
I was convinced.
it was hard to use it without it.
it was super like it was all like there was no graphic. There was little graphic interface
Right.
for it, but it was like people didn't understand what like ISPs were then.
Right.
And I remember I used a different one that was not AOL at some point. There was like some weird free one that just had ads on the bottom. But that's when you figure out like, oh, you don't need this portal anymore. There is a thing that connects you to the internet.
Right, and then you would go on it, and it would be like your homepage. It was like so user friendly, and then they had
Right.
all the chat rooms on there too,
Yeah.
which is really crazy if you think about it. Like how dangerous that is for kids. to
Super
have
dangerous.
Super, and it was. I think kids would get hit up all the time
Yeah.
on AOL. So that's the earliest. I remember also as far as the porn thing goes. I have two memories of I remember just. There was no videos, obviously. It was literally just pictures.
Well, it'd take you
and it would
day
take
to
20
download.
minutes to load. And I remember just waiting and watching, waiting for it to just go. It
Yeah.
was like so pixelated and so. But then when it came down, you were like, "This is amazing! This is amazing!"
Yeah.
Because you're 15 and you're like, anything naked is amazing.
I had a floppy disk with one picture of a girl on it, like naked in the shower. And I don't know like where else was I gonna put it? I guess I like hid it somewhere near because it was, you had a family computer then.
Of
there was
course,
no.
Of course.
We had
Not
a Mac
everybody had
actually
one.
before when Macs were like nobody had them. They must have been cheap or something.
We did not have
We
a
did.
Mac.
We had this. We did too. But but we switched over to PC later. But it was like we bought off the neighbors. It was super old.
Yeah.
But the porn, I remember my mom found the disc with the one picture on it. She's probably just
looking
like,
at it, or-
I need to put some documents to work on it. And she just comes out. And she's like, do you want to tell me something about yeah. It's like, oh, sorry.
My friend from when I went to Manhattan College for a year, at that point, so that's a few years after the internet came out. He was good with websites as well, and he built a very crummy porn site. He called it Jerry Malibu's Palace of Porn, and he just had a picture of the Taj Mahal, and it was just random photos he just got off the internet of porn pictures, and he was getting tons of hits. Like he was getting like tons of people coming to just this one or two page website, and they would just come and check out like his things that he got. He wasn't taking the pictures; he just got them from other sites.
Right.
And it was So I'll never forget that. And he had a shirt that said Jerry Malibu. I think he gave him the shirt.
Oh,
It was great. But here's the thing: the reason I bring this up is because. Okay, now think about how archaic we just thought of what the internet looked like. And now think about what it looks like in this. It's almost like they have no concept. Because a lot of times in the 90s, you were dealing with people who were making movies that were so much, they had no idea what the internet was. So
but that's why I like this movie, because it takes something that has no visual representation to the average person, and it builds that out. You know what I'm saying? Like like real hackers sit and stare at numbers on a screen, all the time.
Right.
So how do you? That's the fight. That's the fight. Is that And normally it would be if two people were trying to one was trying to defend some server from a hacker. Both people would just be looking at screens with numbers on them, which would be not good for a movie.
Yeah, but it's authentic.
So they take
even that.
It is, but they I like it because they built a world that didn't exist, kind of. No matter how far-fetched it was, it's very like comic book kind of.
So it almost has like a Batman-ish kind of feel to it, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I like watching this. I'm like, they even had it when Fisher Stevens is like hacking. They just have it look like. What is it like? There's just colors flashing before. It's like not even. Yeah, it's like a dream sequence. It's not even like a real.
And he's
what?
It's not good.
He's in a room with Penn from Penn and Teller,
Penn
who's like the security guard, not like the computer security guard, but like just like a guy who monitors the mainframe, and the mainframe is just looks like this giant room of like red and black screens. And as he's like defending it, he's got this like giant like touch keyboard that he's just like playing it like three pianos, and he's like, "Oh, you're not getting in here." And the best part of Fisher Stevens and his role is his first entrance, because he skateboards into to the room.
That's right.
And he's clearly like 40 and like dressed like in a trench coat, and he just skateboards into this.
It's such a 90s scenario. It's such like, that's what I'm saying.
It sounds like if you asked me to make a movie about computers, I'm like, yeah, just make it a flash rainbow and have him come in like this. Like, you really don't have a knowledge of it. No, but you would have it
look like, stylistically, this was going to be, this was outdated like a year later. It was outdated. And even the computers. The trouble is, like, even if you look, the famous one that we haven't even done on the podcast yet is The Net, and she's The Net with Sandra Bullock. Same thing.
Never heard of this.
And they're using real life. Like, this you could get away with Jim's defense, which I know what you're saying. It's more stylistic. There was a set designer that was like, we're going to make him hacking look more interesting than just him sitting at a computer hacking.
Right.
But what they didn't realize is now all those shows, that's what they do. They make it like, they look like a real interface. They look like they're actually writing the code. And just what's going on around them is the more interesting part, and people know what computers are so much more now.
Right, that's what it is.
That's what it is. They know what FTP is, whatever you want to call it, whatever. But like, so they get it more. So back then you had to make it. You couldn't just make it like what it actually was. The people were like, what are you, aliens? I have no idea
it wouldn't
what this
connect.
is. Right. So you had to make it like, oh, here's colors and flashes and Fisher Stevens on a skateboard. Look how anti-establishment he is on this skateboard.
And they all chain smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
and they're like caffeine junkies, but not like not necessarily, because like Jolt Cola was a thing.
I remember Joe Cola.
Yeah,
was that in the movie?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, God.
They talk about that being like the official drink of hackers. Like, my girlfriend's like, why are they drinking like Red Bull or Mountain Dew? And I'm like, that wasn't like
Red Bull wasn't a
connected.
thing.
Red Bull wasn't a thing.
Mountain Dew
might have been, but like Jolt
It
had
was.
more caffeine. I mean, Mountain Dew was a thing, but not.
Basically, what they did is this. They probably went like, the hackers are everything your parents don't want you to do. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
he's going to skateboard in. It's going to be like, we're breaking into this mainframe. And then on top of it, it's like, Jolt was the thing, the soda. Even when we drank soda, I don't think I was allowed to drink Jolt. Jolt was
No.
and we drank a lot of soda in my house. But, like, I think Jolt had like 5 times the amount of sugar, or like 3 times the amount of sugar.
Twice the caffeine.
Twice, whatever. Is that
Yeah.
what it was?
Yep.
Twice the caffeine. So that's something. So when you're a kid, they probably thought kids are going to watch this and be like, I want to be a hacker. I'm going to be a hacker because they get to drink soda.
Yeah,
they
and smoke cigarettes.
Smoke cigarettes.
Ride skateboards everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, the hackers actually rollerblade everywhere.
That's right.
There's a pretty sweet sequence of them rollerblading through Manhattan.
That's
oh my
another
God.
reason
This
that I hate
sounds
this movie.
weirdly fun to watch.
It's so much fun to watch.
Now,
I'm telling you.
it's a plethora of corniness. It's just a complete.
It is corny.
It's very corny. And I skateboarded all throughout high school. I wasn't very good at it, but I skateboarded, and that's also another reason. When I see rollerblades, I'm like, lame.
Yeah.
I just have this thing in my head where I'm like, skateboarders forever.
well, that's biased, Sean.
It is, I know.
I don't
Well,
accept that.
all rollerbladers are scum. That's what I'm trying to say.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
offended.
No,
Rollerbladers
it's
are
not
scum.
true.
I didn't
Rollerblade,
say
not-
all were.
Those
Rollerbladers.
rollerbladers. So, my point is like,
I just realized I said that.
yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
What I'm trying to say is that the corniness of this movie overshadows anything you could defend about this movie because, like, it's not even, the people that were in it, like, the people that were making this movie, it's almost like how Saved by the Bell was made. And then I always realized, like, where there's a point where this thing has such a shelf life. There was a time where Saved by the Bell I thought was kind of cool when I was a kid, and but it was a very short period of time. And then very quickly I realized, no, this is super corny. And then years later I found out why, because the guy who made it was like this old corny dude named Peter Engel. So I guarantee you the people who made this movie didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, they didn't bring in any like kids to be like,
Right.
Hey, so what's your life like? But,
Right, like
Right.
the research.
Right? Like,
No.
if you look at, like,
Maybe they
or-
did though.
That's
I think-
why.
Maybe they hung out with some hackers and based it on their experience.
I doubt they did. If they did, they fucked it up.
There's a part of it that like where there's a world that they kind of enter that's like the hacker underground where they just like they live in New York. This whole thing takes place in New York, which like to me as a kid wanting to live in New York was super cool also because I was just like, man, that's what it's like. There's graffiti all over every door and you just rollerblade places and you have a laptop and you show up at a guy's house and then there's like a bunch of other cool people with cut up t-shirts and like they go into like the hacker underground and there's like there's a public access TV show hosted by these two dudes.
Yeah.
I forget their names, but
It's like a hacker TV show. Right?
yeah, they like get on this like pirate public access TV network and they're like, welcome to Hack the Planet. And this is how you get free phone calls on a payphone. You record the dial tone by putting $5 in quarters in on a tape recorder and they do all this stuff. And they go like party in these like places where there's skateboard ramps and like just other people hanging out doing the same type of shit. And they all have like reputations among one another, and then what's not found out at first is the main character is a famous hacker who was like a child prodigy. So he's not been allowed to use a computer until he turns 18. So he's like he hacked into some government thing.
He hacked into a TV network, didn't he? Or he hacked into...
No, that's what he did later. That's what he did when he got out.
Oh, okay.
But they moved to New York,
Literally,
him
it
and his
says-
like single mom.
Really quick, just to give you guys some info, because we're kind of jumping around. In 1988, 11-year-old Dade, nicknamed
Dade.
Zero Cool Murphy, is arrested and charged with crashing 1,507 computer systems in a single day and causing a single-day 7-point drop in the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah,
His
that's what it
family
was.
is fined $45,000 for the events, and he is banned from using computers or touch-tone telephones until he is 18 years old. 7 years later, Dade, Johnny Lee Miller, who is in fucking Trainspotting, and he was also in this, it boggles my mind. Johnny Lee Miller is now living with his divorced mother in New York City. Also, he looks 40. Like, he's not even...
Oh, everybody in this movie
everybody's
is
so
like
much
that.
older than they're supposed to be.
Like
They're supposed to be
Angelina
high school.
Jolie.
Angelina's Jolie. Yeah, what is her role?
She's supposed to be a high
all right.
schooler.
Yeah, she's supposed to be a high schooler, but
She's
she
probably
is
the
a
youngest.
hacker, too.
Yeah, so that's gonna...
That's cool.
Yeah, so,
No, this is a pretty... This movie's... I don't know if... It doesn't pass... It wouldn't pass the Bechdel test, but it's still like... They are on... Those two are on equal footing.
They are. She's his nemesis. Because what happens is he's living with his divorced mother in New York City. On Dade's 18th birthday, he receives a computer and uses social engineering to hack into local television station's computer network, changing the current TV program to an episode of The Outer Limits. However, Dade's intrusion is countered by another hacker, handle Acid Burn. That's
Angelina Jolie.
That's Angelina Jolie. That's my problem. That's what I'm talking about. It's this faux cool thing to it. So there's, what does he say? He's Overdrive or something.
Yeah.
And she's Acid Burn. I've never thought that was cool.
No,
like I've
it's
never
not,
had a time
but-
in my life where I was like, oh man, I wish I was called Acid Burn.
But
Well,
if
that
you were a
makes one of
hacker,
us.
look, I'm going to look up names of famous hackers right now
Yeah,
to
it
tell you
sounds
that
right. It sounds right.
Then hackers are corny.
hackers are super corny.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
I
not-
thought that
I'm
was...
gonna get doxxed now.
I know.
This lists their real names. I want their handles.
On a
well.
side note, I saw one of the worst movies I've ever seen this weekend.
What?
Krampus.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. That's some other point. I gotta.
Oh, we'll do it on the bonus episode because, wow, our Patreon is popping. People, get to it. We've got great new patrons. We've got Anthony Deacon. We've got Shannon Duffy.
Whoa!
We've got Mike Burnich. We've got Colleen McMullen.
What about our OG? We got our OG in there.
I'll come back to the OGs. I'll say them all again because we just love them so much. Melanie Hernandez, Seth Palmer, Evan Cordes, Jaime De Leon,
Wow.
Russell Shepard, our OG Cheryl Boglarski, and Lee
Cheryl.
Kowarski. And stuff is just popping over on this Patreon. We've got live footage of our live show.
That's going up. So the only time you're going to get the footage from our live show, it's not on the live episode, I don't believe. Only time you get this footage
If
is
you want the video
if you want the
footage.
video footage, go to sign up on Patreon. What is the address, Farrah Brooke?
It's patreon.com/defendyourmovie.
And you just do, we have different choices,
We have
but do the
different
$5 a
choices.
month. We get as much content out to you guys as possible. We're growing it as we go. The more we learn about it, you'll get more and more stuff. Tell your friends about it. If you have tell people about the podcast as well. Try to get people to listen. And then we'll give you as much humanly content as we can.
We will
Yes.
give you that content.
Are you looking up hacker names? From
Yeah,
Yeah.
you ready? I'm
Is this
going to
from
run.
the
Oh, yeah, I was
These
waiting
are
for
real
you to
ones.
get it.
All right,
These are
cool.
real ones. I'm just going.
Yeah.
Fiber optic.
See, but that's
T-Flow.
T-Flow.
T-Flow
Weed.
sounds like a bad rap name.
The Mentor. Captain Crunch.
But we're
Dead
all
Lord.
sitting on our high horse of
Kingpin.
FB gal.
FB guy.
Like,
Roman
this is fine. These
Poet.
all sound very reasonable to me.
Yeah, I guess I was Shawnee D519.
Lord Digital.
You're like, this is corny names.
Fyodor.
What'd you say, Yodor?
Fyodor. Night Lightning. Dark Dante. Dill Dog.
Oh my god.
Terminus. Track 2. Anacata. Gigabyte. Weld Pond. Mudge.
All right, so you see what my thing is with this movie. It's
Totally.
I think I must think I'm cooler than I am.
Yeah, that's what I'm not understanding is you're the one being like, this is corny. Real computers are like this. It's like, what?
So literally,
Screaming from the skate park.
so let's wrap it up with this because we're going here. But if you had to give 3 reasons for people to watch this movie, how would you defend this movie? My defense of my stance is that it's super corny and I can't get over that. And it's also watching like Angelina Jolie, whatever, but like Johnny Lee Miller, it's like it went from like this awesome role in Trainspotting. I don't know which came out first. I think they were the same year.
Was
I think
Trainspotting
might have been 96.
I think Trainspotting was
Okay, so this was
afterwards.
before Trainspotting. So I can't not think of him as Sick Boy from Trainspotting.
Yeah.
Like, and that was such a darker movie and
For sure.
actually cool to me when I was that age. It could be corny now, who knows? But This just seems I can't get into like acid burn and all that stuff. So what would you say is 3 reasons somebody should watch this movie? Defend the movie in 3 if you can.
Three reasons. Well, first of all, I just like the way they represented the digital world in like visually. Okay. Reason number 2 is
You mean with all the colors and
the colors and the like terrible. I mean, the graphics are of the time for sure, which is like tough to get past.
Yeah.
Especially if you were born later than me. But you got to put that aside. The second thing would be every scene that Fisher Stevens is in, because he's not good. And he skateboards everywhere, and he's too old to be doing that.
That's a defense of it?
That's a defense. I mean, if you want
Just to
entertainment
watch
value,
Yeah.
How about this? I'll give you your defense. At least Fisher Stevens isn't playing an Indian guy in this.
Right. No, he's just
playing a white guy,
Yeah,
which
he's
he
just
is.
a white guy.
Yeah.
And
You know
then
about that? In Short Circuit, he plays an Indian guy.
I've
He's
never
not
heard
Indian.
of Short Circuit.
He's
He's in Short
You got to
Circuit.
get somebody on to do that movie
And Fisher Stevens, he's a white guy who plays an Indian guy. It's crazy.
with
Okay.
a bad accent too.
With a really bad,
Oh,
that should be the
God.
problem with that. It shouldn't have been the problem with the
problem
poo.
with Fisher
It should-
Stevens.
Harry Kondabaloo. I wrote a status about the problem with. I just posted his thing, and he writes Harry, who I'm friends with. I think we're friends. He wrote below it. Jesus Christ. He just wrote. I'm like, why? Because I just shared your thing. Whatever. It's not a big deal. Anyway, go ahead. What's your final reason then? I love Harry. I'm buddies with him. I like him.
Oh, I don't know. I'm running out of reasons now, but I would say the story is not terrible. It just feels like a bad comic book. If you want to get critical of it, but
No, we want defend. We want.
oh right, I have to
defense.
defend it.
Yeah, defense. If you had to defend.
I can, not now. I can hardly defend it.
That happens. That happens a lot. People think they defend it. They come in here and they realize they're like, oh shit. You're right.
No. You have to take it for what it is. That's what I'm saying. Like the story is good in its context
Without the outer shell of the cheesiness that we talked about.
Yeah, like it's a movie that just keeps moving, and they don't like there's no point where you're just like, well, what the what.
All right, I'll give you that. It keeps moving is actually a really good. We haven't had that reason.
I mean, yeah, because if you're
the
watching,
movie continues
there's
to
something
happen.
to that because we had Sam Rill did Monkey Shines, and that movie was way too long. That was like a 2-hour and 20-minute movie. All right, so those are your 3 reasons.
yeah, it's just a fun thing to watch.
Fun thing to watch. Farrah, will you see Hackers? She hasn't seen it. That's Farrah's role in the show. She
Right.
hasn't seen any movies, so she doesn't know.
Honestly, yes.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I am shocked.
I have not heard anything wrong with this. You've got cool rollerblading through the city, which sounds delightful.
Have you listened to what we've
You've
been
got
saying?
hack. Yeah, just because you think it's cheesy doesn't mean I will. It sounds like a fun time.
All
right.
and
I thought Jim
great
did
job.
a good job.
Angelina Jolie as the other hacker is a more than formidable opponent for Zero Cool, and there's a slight romantic interest that is played on both sides. It's not just like gotta get the girl.
Oh,
it's
that's
like
right. She
I
does
like
it
that.
too, right?
yeah, she does it too.
All right, I'll take that as your better third reason.
That's
right there.
cool.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a
I'm
great
very into
2017
it.
reason. Well, that's great. She doesn't usually say.
I don't, but I honestly didn't hear anything wrong sounding about this movie.
Well, there you go. Great job, Jim.
Thank you.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, I had a ton of fun.
What would you like to plug, my friend?
Oh, geez. Just my Twitter, I guess, at Jim Tews. And my Instagram. I've been doing some weird animation stuff on there that I like doing. So
And what's your Instagram? Same thing,
Jim Tews.
Tews?
JimTews.
And Farrah, anything you want to mention? Nothing.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. And also,
I do a show
Oh.
stand-up show every Thursday at UCB East.
And
at
it's
9
called?
o'clock. It's called Fresh Out.
there we go. That's a great show. Also, let's do Defend Your Movie has a Twitter. It's at Defend Your Movie. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Defend Your Movie. We already mentioned the Patreon, patreon.com/
Defend
Your Movie. Make sure you hit us up on all of those. Let us know what movies you would defend, what movies you think we should defend, what you think about the podcast, what you thought about the live one. We're doing another one in San Francisco at the end of January at Sketchfest. It's going to be a lot of fun. Are you going?
too, yeah.
Oh, nice. Great. Okay, cool. And let us know. We're trying to build the Defend Your Movie Nation. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you to Alex from Showbiz Studios. You can hear us. He has a page on iTunes as well as YouTube, showbizstudios.com. Also, check out Laughable, the app, and then iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all that stuff. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Goodbye. Thank you.
My friend, there's a time